strictly protected for over 30 years. But that's precisely what makes them the target of greed and the craving for status. The mighty hunters have themselves become hunted. For a long time, it was believed that tiger hunting was the work of individual poachers, and that the illegal trade could be stemmed through appeals and goodwill. It was assumed that tigers were killed above all for their bones, which are used in traditional Chinese medicine. But in recent years, all that's changed, and the tigers are being hunted like never before. By organized gangs who stop at nothing. There's a new market which no one could ever have suspected. For those in charge of this trade, it's about millions. For the tigers, it's about survival. Crimes at the expense of nature. Eco-crimes. The following story is not made up. It's based on documentary evidence and eyewitness reports, on official records and court verdicts. Individual scenes like this one have been reenacted where they originally took place. All environmentalists and police appear as themselves. This film shows what really happened. The story begins on the 19th of December 1999. At a control post between India's capital, New Delhi, and the satellite town of Ghaziabad. Two tax officers in plain clothes are checking the papers and load of a truck. They want to know whether all the duty has been paid. Controls like this take place on most highways leading from one town to another. It's purely routine. They examine the consignment thoroughly. The tax inspectors want to see everything on board. They suspect a case of tax evasion, and their suspicion pays off. They've caught a smuggler transporting wildlife contraband. Pelts, tiger skins, neatly rolled up. Altogether, 3 tiger skins, 5 otter pelts, and 50 leopard skins are seized. It must be a one-off job. But then 4 weeks later, the authorities make their next haul in Kaga. This time it's 175 kilograms of tiger bones, 132 tiger claws, 70 leopard skins, and 4 tiger skins.
In December 1999, it hit me in the face. I mean, I immediately comprehended that this was something different. It felt different, it was different, and suddenly it became organized wildlife crime. Absolutely no doubt about it.
Belinda Wright and her colleagues at the Wildlife Protection Society of India, an environmentalist organization in New Delhi, have taken on the battle against the illegal trade in animal products. She's given up her career as a wildlife photographer and filmmaker because she can no longer stand idly by while the tiger is threatened with extinction. She works together with the police and has her own network of informers. No one else keeps as close account of every seizure, knows every detail as thoroughly as she does. It's not just the number of skins seized, but also the quality of processing that suggests a new level of poaching. These are professionals at work, intent on making as much money as possible. And for the first time, there are markings on the skins, which she doesn't understand.
After the Ghaziabad seizure, every other major seizure had signatures on the backs of the skins. And, I mean, they were just so odd. They weren't, they didn't make sense at all. So I thought they might be, to begin with, I thought they might be Urdu or something like that. But it just, nobody could identify these things.
In nearly all of India's tiger reserves and national parks, the poachers have an easy job of it. The risk of getting caught is minimal. The way they operate is always the same. First, they look for tracks, paths that the tigers are in the habit of using. Then, in the middle of the tiger path, they dig out a small hole. Into this, they place an iron trap, which costs 200 rupees, around €3. The poachers are the first link in a long chain of fences, smugglers and dealers who don't want to get their own hands dirty. The spring traps are brutal, cheap, and extremely effective. But whatever havoc is wrought in the national parks, it doesn't seem to affect tiger numbers particularly. In the year 2002, there are officially 3,500 tigers in India, just as many as in the preceding years. The results of the regular tiger counts lull the Indian authorities into a false sense of security. The fate of the tiger is just not on the agenda, neither in politics nor in the media. All the warnings from Belinda Wright and other tiger conservationists that this majestic creature is threatened like never before fall on deaf ears. Nobody knows that there are new buyers, ready to pay top price for a tiger skin. €10,000 and more. It takes another coincidence to put the authorities on the tracks of the poachers and the men behind them. It's the 2nd of January 2003. On duty at the station of the small town of Bijayanagar is Shaitan Singh. He works for the railway police, and together with his colleagues it's his job to maintain order. He inspects trains and passengers' luggage in the interests of public safety. One of those on the way to New Delhi on this particular day is Balwan from Udaipur. He knows how to merge into a crowd and make himself inconspicuous. But Railway Police Officer Singh has a good eye for people who don't want to be seen.